don't get left behind. So on yesterday's video I said about eating real food, and don't be left eating normal people food when everybody else transitions over to single ingredient foods, right? So you need to adopt new ideas quickly. Well, that goes for a lot of other things. I remember, I think everybody's well aware that social media rots your brain and it's very addictive and designed to get you hooked. And there are, like, Instagram is very bad for your mental health. I think people know that, and we use it knowingly. Well, I remember sort of a few years ago, there's been documentaries on all this stuff now. We're all quite aware of what's going on. But I remember when I can't remember what the documentary's called, but when social media first started becoming a problem, you'd get like say the iPhone. I think it was the CEO of Apple. Somebody asked him in an interview, do you let your children use, or it might have been Facebook, do you let your children use Facebook? And the CEO was like, no, I restrict the amount of time they can use it for. Well, if you're selling a product, unless you can say, like, if I'm selling you beef, right, I genuinely eat beef every day because it's healthy. If you said to me, oh, do you eat beef every day? And I had to say, no, I only have it once a week because it actually causes cancer. That's not a very good product. Do you know what I mean? When you've got the CEO of Facebook saying, I restrict the amount of time my children use Facebook, you know something's up. So I think there's a lot of things that we're just now realising that people are doing behind the scenes, but they're not being upfront about their habits. So for example, on the surface it looks like everybody uses social media all the time without having to restrict their behaviour, and they don't have any trouble. And then there's you scrolling Instagram crying because your life looks crap compared to everybody else's, when what you don't realise is the CEO of Instagram doesn't let his kids use Instagram that much because it would wreck their mental health, and there's you just getting wrecked. So this is the same with food. Like I said yesterday, everybody's just accepting and thinks, oh yeah, supermarkets, 90% of what is in a supermarket is not real food. It's full of loads of ingredients. That's yesterday's video. There's only a handful: fruit, veg, nuts, seeds, meat, fish, some raw dairy if you can get it, right? So, but there are other habits that people are using and they're not, you might not know about them. So it's just basic health stuff, health and longevity, like eating real food, getting the correct hydration, daily sunlight. Everybody's shut up indoors nowadays and they don't get sunlight. Grounding, so being barefoot on the earth, cold water exposure, saunas. So the actionable step is research habits that are lesser known and implement them, because you don't want to get left behind. You don't want to be the fat guy who's eating pizza and ice cream while everybody else is walking around. Because I think this has been mentioned before, if you get pictures of like the 50s and 60s, I've seen it probably floating around on Twitter, they'll show a picture down the beach. I live on the Isle of Wight, so I'm like used to, this is kind of what I'm exposed to, but I think it was Brighton. Brighton is quite close. It's another beach, another seaside town. It's probably a city, I don't know. But so there'll be a picture of Brighton Beach in the 50s or 60s, and everybody has abs. All the guys have abs, all the women are slim, right? And then they show a picture from like last year, 2023. Everybody's fat, right? So that's fine. Everybody's fat, and that's the norm now, and you didn't get left behind. I mean, it would have been nice to be left behind from the 50s and still have your abs, but you don't. You're fat like everybody else, like I am. So it will shift again. The pendulum will swing back, where people will start eating real food, they'll start doing good habits again, testosterone in men will rise again, and it will be normal to have abs. Now that might be 10 years away, it might be 20 years, but that is coming back, and you don't want to be the guy who's still fat when you walk down the beach and they take the picture. You're like the one fat guy. Now, I'm not like fat shaming. If you feel healthy and feel good and you don't have abs, that's not a problem. I actually don't think abs is that much of a big deal. When I was fat, I thought, I really need to get abs. Now, as long as like they vaguely are there, then I'm not that bothered. It's like, I think it's Samoans are very stocky and well built, but they don't have abs, and that's a good body type as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I'm just saying, people are changing their habits. Make sure you're adopting new ideas quickly and moving with the times. So, and it's not always, everybody might say on the surface, it's like everybody pretends to be happy on social media when in reality they're depressed. And I think people are talking about depression more, so it's more, we kind of get it. But there's things people are not telling you, but they're implementing behind the scenes. And then when it becomes popular, they'll be like, oh yeah, I've been doing this for 10 years. And you're stuck thinking, well, nobody told me. Do you know what I mean? So it's like quitting smoking. You want to be one of the first people that quit smoking, not the last one. So real food, not getting addicted to social media, technology, screens, getting time in nature, sunlight, cold water exposure, sauna. So yeah, if there's anything I've missed or things that you're implementing that you think, oh yeah, it's not the norm, but for me the big one is food. I think that's, and sitting down. I heard somebody say sitting is the new smoking. We're sat down so much of the time. It dawned on me the other day, I drive for a job, so that's fair enough. But I was like, every spare minute I seem to be driving somewhere in my car. I'd meet up with friends in the car. I was like, I'm going to sell my car because I'm just always sat in my car. It's like a matrix. It's like the car's got me hooked or something. So yeah, sitting is another one. So yeah, let me know if there's anything I haven't thought of. Have a good day, boys. Done. Just something to add to that last one. This isn't going to be like free things. I was talking about free things that you can implement. But something that I thought about the other day was hyperbaric chambers. We know adding more oxygen to cells is a very healthy thing. And I think having your own hyperbaric chamber or having access, making hyperbaric chambers a lot more accessible to people for cheaper is going to be very popular in the coming years.